I apologize for the title of this show. It shouldn't be Chips Ahoy. It should be named in the honor of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, The Who. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Chip stocks. Right back up. SanDisk, Micron, Qualcomm. There's your leaders, folks. We're going to focus on that today. Earnings? Not much. SpaceX options? That should be interesting. Robinhood cutting jobs? Cutting jobs is good, folks. Remember that. 8:35. A longtime friend of the show, Nick Shaheen, is going to talk futures, options, overnight trading, and much more. Folks, get ready. Synthetic Wednesday on PreMarket Pro.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, folks, green on the screen. These charts brought to you by TradeStation. Born to trade, chart, analyze, customize, all-in-one platform. Trade smarter, move faster, and stay in control with the platform built for serious AI traders. Join us on Thursday at 9 a.m. Another special segment. Talk about the AI capabilities in TradeStation. Well, little dip overnight, green again. All-time highs just around the corner, perhaps. Up 550, 76.32. Buck down again, but only 4 cents here, 99.33. TLT getting kind of boring, up 36 cents. Trying to clear 86. That'd be interesting. 86.08 your last price. USO down again. 117.05. That's 416. Gold and silver on the rebound. GLD, they're both up about 0.5%. GLD 398.40, SLV 63.86. Bitcoin kind of flat here after that nice rally off 60K. Let's call it down $130 on the futures at 66,445. Let's bring in triple D, and these tech stocks, these chip stocks. Just another good morning so far.
Well, people don't want to talk about it. So, they want to talk about all the stuff that's not going up. So maybe we should have a show where we talk about everything that's not moving. Because, Chips Ahoy, the title, obviously, this has been the story. If you're not in these stocks, you've been left in the dust here. And people aren't in these stocks, so they're mad about it. And they don't want to talk about these stocks. But it's just the party continues here. We can get to SpaceX here in a minute here because the party continues there as well. But, Micron is up another. MU just keeps continuing to go up another 36 points. SanDisk is up another 44 points after being up like 300 points here in the last 2 days. 600 points. SanDisk is up 650 points.
That's crazy.
In a week. This stuff is unbelievable. WDC, we don't give it enough love. Joel still owns all these stocks here too. That's why he's got lots of smiles on his face.
Not all. WDC
4 days ago, WDC was $489. It's $716. What is that percentage return? 225 on 49. It's up 50% in 4 days. Like not even 4 days, 3 days plus whatever is this morning. These moves, man. STX, give them all some. We got to give them all some love. We'll touch them all. Touch them all. Up another $70. AMD. It's the laggard of the group. It's up 120 points in 3 days. It's the laggard.
Well, you know what? Also,
moves,
you can look.
Man.
You know what? Also, we'll bring the Brentster in here.
Good morning.
You know what else you can look forward to in some of these stocks? Splits. We're gonna split. We're gonna do a buyback. We're gonna buyback. What?
Well, I don't know. But buybacks sound crazy, Joel. I don't think any of these companies are buying their stock back. But what I will say is, there's possibility for splits on these things for sure, and then that would elevate them even more. SanDisk want to be a $2,000 stock. Could do a 10 for 1 stock split right now. It'd be $200. What's going to do when it announces a 10 for 1 stock split? It's going to go higher. These moves are so incredible. AI, the stock market, like, you can think what you want to think. Everybody can think what they want to think. The stock market thinks that AI is going to change the world. That is what the stock market believes. I believe it as well. I believe it is correct. I believe it is rational, this move here. But I tell you, like, there's a lot of people who don't believe this. A lot of people who think, no, it hasn't done anything. It is just a bunch of chatbots. We got a cool video, we were watching. We could post the link, and obviously, we've done our own stuff here as well, which we're going to be posting a video of some stuff we've made as well, too, just to talk about this stuff. And, maybe at the Tuesday meeting here today, we'll talk about releasing, Brian's video. He's put together a nice 8-minute segment here on talking about where we've come from and where we're going. I mean, this is what, some people need to watch, because will make you better understand what is happening here. Because most people, I would say most people just don't know this is happening. If you're not in stocks, you probably don't know what's happening. But most people are just like, oh yeah, ChatGPT, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It wrote me a poem for my wife. It answers the questions I need. This is where we were 2 years ago. It's not where we are now, and that's what's changing so rapidly here. And I know we keep talking about it. We're talking about it because it's making everyone a lot of money. So, okay. And because that's what everybody else is talking about today.
Forget about it. But what do you got, Brentster?
But I want to also propose something here. Yes, we have the same stocks moving, but aren't we in a bit of a different market environment here? We have SpaceX, which is now public, and around the same time, coincidentally, we have the pattern day trader rule, which has been adjusted. How are these things affecting these names that we keep going back to, that traders keep going back to, like Micron and SanDisk?
Well, and also we have USO down significantly too, so we have the war, so we can talk all this stuff in context here. Like, ducks are in a row for the bulls to be taking over control here. I mean, here goes USO again. So it isn't just AI stocks here now rallying. We're starting to see other stocks rally significantly here as well. So the party definitely continues here. And I don't know what's going to slow it down. Like, where is the catalyst? Like, talk to me, bears, please. Besides saying, oh, we're in a bubble and it's all going to crash. What's the catalyst? Like, I'm struggling. I struggled. Remember, I had this conversation 3 months ago. I'm like, I'm struggling to find the bear thesis. That's why I don't want to sell in my stocks. I don't know, like, where the bear thesis is coming from here. So please, is it, oil prices are going to explode? We're going to continue. Well, that didn't do it. I mean, AI stocks are overpriced. Well, they were overpriced 6 months ago, maybe, according to a lot of people's metrics, and they just keep going up here. What is the catalyst to crash the markets? These bears that are just out here so hungry for something to chew on. Please, in the chat, please, answer, if you are bearish, I want to hear about it. Change my mind. Change my mind. Nobody's changing my mind, which is why I come on here every morning and repeat the same stuff. AI.
That trader says inflation, but oil's coming down.
It's deflation. Oil coming down. That's been one of the most, inflationary things for the last little while, has been obviously oil prices here. I mean, rates are elevated. The TLT is still sitting up here, and looking, 4.55% there. So that didn't knock the stock market down. I mean, we had a war. We've had higher rates. We've had inflation ticking back higher. We've had lots of reasons, tariffs, everything. We've had lots of reasons that the stock market could come turn around and crash. And Joel, you obviously want to call a top too. You've been trying to call a top here, but I just don't see it. Like, and maybe it comes out of nowhere. Maybe it's like a new war. I already had a war. Stocks went up on it. Like, maybe it's something we aren't even seeing coming. Maybe it's a regulatory control of AI. That would be scary. We had a little bit of that on the weekend here, but I'm struggling massively, and I don't often do this, to find the bear thesis here, which maybe this is like, this is it. Everybody's just too bold up. It's too bold up, and that's bearish in itself.
Okay, I will put a timeline on this, and I'll say 60 days, right? Because that's how far the ceasefire is. We know, well, it's not really a ceasefire. It's a memo. It is a ceasefire. It's certainly not end of the war from the nuclear perspective. So you got a 60 days. So maybe we'll go up every day for the next 2 months unless something happens. So you're right there. Jay Diamond Hands. Something happens. The peace deal falls apart. Bombs are flying.
It's gonna fall apart. It's not if, it might. Come on. 43 times. Why is that going to knock the market down, though?
There you go.
That's
Do we
the
think
question.
this
Piece
exactly
deal falls apart, so we go down 30 S&P handles. Then we get another piece deal, and we go up 100 S&P handles. If that pattern continues, here's the real truth. If that pattern continues, the market is higher because we've seen what's happened. If they would have just signed the piece deal 2 months ago, the market's probably not this high. But we sell off 20 handles when we get the piece deal falling apart. We rally 100 handles when we get a new one. What's happened 43 times? How many times have we rallied on the new piece deal? How much of that has just propelled the stock market? The talks of a piece deal, talks of a piece deal. We have just catapulted on that. So I believe that is going to happen, but I don't believe it's going to make the market fall apart.
Well, make it go down, but then you can buy more and it will go back up.
Well, what I just said, it only goes down 20 handles, Joel, but then it rises 100 the next day when Trump says, no, we do have a peace deal. How they're signing a deal, and Trump said they don't even need to sign it. This is the first deal ever that the counterparty doesn't need to sign. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not advocating here to come in and just load up your Microns and your SpaceXs and your AMDs. But what I'm saying is when we get dips, which we always do, we just had a dip. AMD, Qualcomm in the chat. I'm sitting back. What did I do, Brett? I was like, this is a dip. This is a storied stock that's going to be participating in AI. We just fell from 250 to 200. I'm buying some Qualcomm in my long-term account. 230. 4 days later. I mean, it's not rocket science here. Buying dips on storied stocks right now. That's where it's at. SpaceX gave you a dip actually off the IPO, kind of a little bit. I mean, you don't see a dip on the chart here, but we were up at like 175 indicated, opened way down at 150. We've catapulted ever since, but there's a few dips in there. We went from 173 down to 158 on day one. So you do get these inevitable dips. We're dipping right now. The stock was like 213, now back down to 202.
I thought you said 221. Did you see
that? Robbing it overnight.
Really? You saw it at 221?
Overnight, I saw 218. What did you guys see?
I don't
overnight?
know. I don't have that.
Traders.
Wow.
229.85. I have.
Oh my Lord! No way.
So we were watching it last night, and it kind of creeps over. It kind of creeps over 190, and Dennis is going like, "Where's Kenny? Is this the time for the Kenny rule? The 190, 192?
I'm like, we're at 190. We're going at 200,
and we go to 230 almost."
Dennis, how much volume traded up there? And
the volume is incredible, Joel. It's traded 22 million shares already this morning.
Whoa.
Huge size. You want to sell 10 million up at 225? I guarantee you could have sold $10 million up at 225. This is not trading like a penny stock. This is big money in here. You can move millions of dollars in here on SpaceX in and out. Millions of dollars here relatively easy. This thing has got volume, Joel. It's like water.
I'm very impressed.
It is so bloody liquid. You put your order out there, and it is gone.
I am so impressed with this IPO. We could go more into it. My scenario was a little bit wrong. I thought it was going to open 185 and go to like 200 and maybe get a little silly, go 210, 220 and pull back. But instead, it opened, man. That was a nice open. We talk about opens and the emphasis of the open. 150 open, 149.34 low, and then never looked back. And then I don't know if we're ready to start this segment yet, but when is it going to have a down day? When this is day 3, right? It's up 9 sticks. Do you think it's going to be one of these?
But stop though. If you take the 229 to 201, we're in correction territory here for SpaceX. They can all say it's all awesome and everything, but we're significantly off the highs. Hell, we're almost in a bear market. We lose another $10.
I don't even know.
We're in the official bear market that the market says when a stock falls 20% from its highs.
I bet you less than 5,000 shares traded over 225. Maybe I'm wrong.
I bet you way more than that traded.
Okay.
I bet you way more than that trade. Where are you getting it's trading 5,000 shares, and that's what we just said in this sentence. It just traded 10,000 shares as I'm speaking right now. 185, 186, 187, 188, 190, 191. Just keeps going. 192. Are you watching the volume? Throw 5,000 shares out the window. It's
I was
scooping up
astonished
5,000
by
shares
it.
and
I
spitting it
love
out.
I think it's great. 22. Yeah, I'm watching it. Let's
There,
see how long it takes.
5,000 shares, Joel. It's trading 50,000 shares
This
a
is
minute
during
here
the
right now.
pre-market. Well, whatever. Let's get to
This
the
is
nuts and
incredible
bolts.
to just watch the volume on it. Like, if you're never trading IPOs and you look at this, like AMD today, which is one of the most active stocks, has traded 374,000 shares. This thing's traded 22 million. We're at 8:15 in the morning.
What about
you want to
after
get in
hours
and out?
yesterday?
You'll get in and out. You go try to trade it. Have you tried to trade it? I've traded it 3 times. It's bing, 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 bing. It's faster than the blink of an eye. You're in and out of it so easily. That is liquid. That is as liquid as it gets right now.
Is this just the market right now? If you throw in that SpaceX probably can move Tesla also, which I think we saw this morning, is the market just SpaceX right now?
Is SpaceX controlling the whole market? There is a great question. Does SpaceX control the entire market here right now? If SpaceX was to roll over, would the S&Ps roll over here? And SpaceX is even part of it. But does it just the sentiment towards it?
Well,
this is a good question, Brent.
And the sentiment on the first day, just to go back to last week, was if this thing has a good open, we feel better about the market. If this thing doesn't have a good open, it goes under 150, it touches 135. Dare say on the first day of trading, it went under 135. On that day, on Friday, we were like, oh, the market would be in trouble. So maybe.
What do you think? One thing we can say, I think you're making a good point. If SpaceX was to roll over like to the 180 today, you could drag the market down the stuff with it. So I think you make a good point to keep SpaceX as an indicator on your screen. I mean, it's not. So I would say actually this morning's action, as much as saying everybody's like staring at it like, wow, it's significantly off its overnight high. So some people did get stuff last night. So there is a little bit of overhead supply, not much because it's it's one day of volume or one night of volume even. But what do you think, Joel? Like, where do you think it goes from here? You're the technician.
I agree. I'm just having a little hard time grappling with volume trading at 229, but it's fine. I totally take your word for it. Options are going to start to trade today. So that's going to, the optionality there is going to be something that's important. But if you weren't listening to our special segment yesterday, with Will Ryan, CEO of Granite Shares, we asked him for a bull and the bear scenario, and he mentioned 2 things that I just thought about, and then he mentioned a third very important thing. Number 1, the low flow, the low percentage of shares that were put out there. I mean, that's a very important thing. Also, oversubscribed, low supply, oversubscribed. And then the other thing that he mentioned is, what about the institutions that have to get into this stock? I mean, what's going in the S&P 500. It's being added to some of the, ETFs.
Well, it's not going in anytime soon.
No.
Because what did S&P commented on this? Did they not? Or somebody's commented that this was not going to be going in imminently? It was not going to be able to get through the regular trading rules. Some people thought that they might give a special exemption to it.
or something?
Yeah, S&P rules.
Was it NASDAQ? Was it NASDAQ that was trying to fast track it, Dennis? I'm trying to remember.
I'm going again. We get so much news. I'm trying to go through my memory here, but S&P rules rule to reject fast tracking SpaceX's entry into the S&P 500, officially maintaining that their standard 12-month waiting period for new publicly mega cap companies. The decision delays SpaceX's eligibility for the index until mid-2027 at the earliest. So they have a 12-month standing rule, and they said they would not do an exemption for SpaceX, so you can knock that out. It's not, at least unless the S&P changes their mind, they said it's not going to the S&P for at least a year.
Rasta Rebels got us the details here. NASDAQ fast-tracked it, SPY not until later.
Yeah, mid-2027 is the earliest.
Yep. Okay, gotcha. Good stuff. So why were you guys talking about that? Just potential that it could be incorporated.
Yeah, Joel's saying it's going to go in the S&P, so institutions are buying it to front run that. Well, they're not.
Gotcha.
It's not in there.
So let's bring into the story. We've talked about all of this without bringing the news item. One of the news items for SpaceX today. The chat is giving us the heads up that options are going to start today. Just again to mention it here, Also, SpaceX had M&A news here this morning in an
That's
8K
crazy.
filing.
Yeah.
And this is notable because of the value, I think. In an 8K filing from, I think, 7 a.m., SpaceX announces that they have entered a plan of merger deal with Cursor, which is like an AI programming startup. They're going to buy this company at a value of $60 billion.
Wow.
60 billion.
I
So
don't even know this company. Like, what the hell is Cursor? Did you know this company?
no, did some quick research, and they're like an AI programming company. So
60 billion?
60 billion. So this is SpaceX goes public, and they certainly already had this plan, I would imagine, to buy this company and spend $60 billion. And Tommy was just making a really good point here. I'll put it on screen. The Cursor deal just allowed SpaceX to drop another 60 billion in float that won't get talked about. So that is important. And this fits into, I dropped it in the chat a little while ago. Let me see if I can go find it real quick. But I dropped the link to the YouTube video that we watched in the STN room last night, where Elon Musk and a product engineer is going into where they think SpaceX is going. And this fits in. Buying a AI programming startup and company fits perfectly into what Elon Musk has, in my opinion, planned for where SpaceX is going. He wants to put, compute in space. He wants to launch these little satellite arrays that have little NVIDIA, basically like the equivalent of little NVIDIA
Sure.
boxes in space. And he's going to be doing a bunch of compute from up there. And AI is going to be an important part of that.
I mean, this was the argument that I gave to DW News, a month ago or a month and a half ago when they gave the SpaceX, like everybody can look at it and say, oh, it's 15. This is what they do. It's simple Simon looking at the headline. $15 billion in revenue last year. Things trading, for $2 trillion. It's just trading, 125 times sales. It's stupid and never touching it again. But nobody's doing any homework. Nobody's like looking where we're going. I mean, the Anthropic deal that was hidden in the S1 filing, Brentster, if that's a monthly deal at 1.25 billion. So if that deal holds, there's another 15 billion. So now you're not talking 15 billion revenue, you're talking 30 billion revenue. The headline that I really liked was, well, not a headline, but it would make a headline, was Elon Musk tweet, which we showed yesterday. He says, we think we can get to $1 trillion in revenue by 2030. Obviously, that's probably optimistic, but also telling you that Elon Musk sees super hyper growth for this huge company here. So, I mean, get to $1 trillion in revenue, well, now you're talking 2 times sales for 2030. If they could actually hit those numbers, the stock is massively undervalued. How are they going to get there? That's what this video that you were just posting is talking about.
I think so.
Data centers in space. Like, I mean, so the same data centers that are on Earth, when you put them into orbit, so they're powered by solar, 8 times more efficient than on Earth because the atmosphere breaks it down. You have 24/7 rays. So the same solar panels that sit on Earth are 8 times more efficient when you put them out there in outer space. Who can do that? SpaceX. I mean, it's all tied in together here. They own a solar company. They own Solar City. So, I mean, you think about like, okay, well, we need all this energy from somewhere. We got the energy of the sun that we're barely using. So, I mean, that's what Musk has said all along. He thinks the majority of our energy can come from solar. So he's a huge believer. It's why he made Solar City the company and merged it up there in with Tesla. So, I mean, they've obviously, got, the parts to make this happen. It's a matter of like, cost and getting it up there and how, efficient it is to keep them. Cooling is an issue. It's not that easy. I think everybody thinks outer space is cool. It's not that easy to cool these things because there's no atmosphere regulating the temperatures. So there is some other issues here. But if anybody can figure this stuff out, Brent, it's Elon Musk. I mean, we can say we don't like what he says. We can say, he's, racist or he's this or he's that. But one thing you can't argue is the accomplishments that this person has made. I mean, who else has created, the EV company of Tesla? SpaceX. We're going to catch the rockets so we're not wasting them. We're going to boost. He's basically replaced NASA. I mean, the accomplishments here are unbelievable. Unbelievable. So can he get to $1 trillion in revenue in SpaceX? If he does, SpaceX stock's gonna be a hell of a lot higher. I'll tell you that much.
One final thing. I know we've been spending a lot of time on this, though, Dennis, but we like to address our chat. Rustical. Why is DXYZ down so much when it holds SpaceX? Man, I got rug pulled last Friday. Makes, talk about it, the net asset value, what they have, what they don't have anymore. Let's talk about DXYZ.
Well, we gave this argument in the think tank when we talked about it. It was a pre-IPO trade. And we said, once the stock is public, why do you need to own DXYZ at a premium? It made perfect sense that this stock was going to go down and lose its premium. It was trading 60% above net asset value. At one point in time, when it got to 70, it was trading 3 times NAV. VCX, same story. Why do you need these vehicles when the stock is now public? So the premium gets extracted after, because why am I paying for the same SpaceX shares way more money when I can just go into the public market and buy SpaceX shares? The things were hyped up, obviously, like it was like exciting to be able to trade and participate in SpaceX ahead of the IPO, which we were trading DXYZ. And, it had a really good run. It got way overdone, though. Way overdone. It's come back down. Now, they still own Anthropic and still OpenAI, so I don't think the story is over here. What we said yesterday, and I keep repeating, it's been shelved. So we put this to the side. Once we start talking Anthropic, OpenAI, this may pick up here again. But right now, this is trading on the SpaceX story. SpaceX is public. You don't need DXYZ trading at a premium. So it's coming back down to its net asset value. Everything is about NAV. When you're trading these closed-end funds, it's about the net asset value. Here's a segue too. Ackman yesterday. He has his fund, Pershing Square, PSUS. He tweeted out yesterday, his fund is trading 20% below NAV. It's trading below, and he thinks it should come back up, and he thinks it's a good opportunity to invest in his fund. The PSUS popped 5% on that Ackman tweet yesterday. 5% on that Ackman tweet. So, again, if you're just blindly buying stuff and not even considering net asset value, you always need to. I never played VCX because it just got completely stupid. Like it was 25 NAV and went to $500. There's no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. So some things have to make some fundamental sense. DXYZ 25 NAV trading at 27 before it started the move. That made some sense. And SpaceX hyped it up, obviously. Everybody's excited. Different ways to play it. It gets them, and it's come all the way back down. So it actually makes perfect sense. This market, people say it's irrational, is the most rational market that I've seen in 28 years. I've traded for 28 years. This market is trading very rational on everything, from the AI trade to that DXYZ trade. Using your head and using logic right now is making you actually a lot of money. So this market, people don't want to hear it, is actually very rational right now. It's doing rational things. Maybe the market's getting smarter. I always said it's the irrational, dumb market. The efficient market hypothesis is dead. It's starting to become more efficient.
Okay, covered a lot there, but a stock that cutting jobs. Dennis, did you know cutting jobs is good? The market loves when you cut jobs.
It's correct. Like they're getting more efficient. Brent, Brent would be on my side here. Don't you think when you see a 10% reduction in workforce, the stock should go up on that? It's AI efficiency happening before our eyes. So what Citrini predicted 3 months ago when they put out that report. It's what we've been talking about. There's an AI efficiency trade coming here, and we haven't even priced any of that in yet.
I think what you just said is right. Yeah. Robinhood this morning, I believe it was, out with a SEC filing saying that they are going to reduce about 10% of their workforce. They have a little restructuring charge that they're going to incur, $20 million, which is nothing. If these are AI-related efficiencies, I don't believe Robinhood mentioned that specifically in the filing. But if they are paying $20 million to potentially get to hundreds of million dollars in AI efficiencies, the stock definitely should be going higher.
This is where we're going. I think we're going to have an AI efficiency trade coming across companies here. I think a lot of the stock market rally, even when you're broadening it out, could be from AI efficiency. Like, is there the possibility that Coke, which has nothing to do with AI at all, could have an AI efficiency trade and make more money because of it?
They will.
If it doesn't, then AI is doing the wrong thing.
So if Coke makes more money, the stock's probably going to go higher. So Coke's an AI stock too. You know what is an AI stock? Everything, if we start getting into this AI efficiency trade. Now, I don't know what that means for jobs. Now, I've argued that longer term we could be in trouble with jobs. But jobs have held up well so far. You know, AI maybe is going to create more jobs. Kramer says it's going to create more jobs than destroys. I don't think so, but you know, maybe new industries are going to be created. Maybe we're out in outer space. Maybe we're doing other, you know, things in other planetary places. It's going to be SpaceX that takes us there. So I think there's a lot of unknowns here. Nobody has the full answers, but just saying the market is overvalued is not opening up your eyes and looking at what is happening around you.
I mean, look at companies like, Walmart, a couple times, they mentioned, improving, the supply chain, and they, integrating different stuff. I mean,
AI
these
is going to help
companies,
them.
yeah. And, just referring to, going back to Brian's video, I showed it to my daughter, Dana, and, marketing specialist over at GM. And she's like, Dad, I've been working with agents for months. Like, you have to work with agents. They check on how much you're using AI. They're looking for efficiency. So, I mean, it's, GM.
Interesting.
It's GM and an AI stock, right?
I don't know what's not an AI stock when you start looking at it from this lens. When you start looking at it from the efficiency lens, there is definitely going to be an efficiency trade here where people are like, holy crap, these companies are going to make a lot more money. Like a company like Meta is going to really make a lot more money because they don't need as many software engineers. You know, Square obviously, getting rid of 40% of the workforce is, it's bloated anyways. They're like, these people in software engineers are still in demand. Don't kid yourself. It's not like the end of the software. Like, we are looking for more software engineer help here. You need, they're in the driver's seat. The software engineer right now, any software engineers listening to this program right now, please listen to me. You are in the driver's seat right now. You should be out there building stuff, because if you are a software engineer and you have the skill set to get in there and envision and know how these things code and how it works, you have a huge edge over us, who just is a stock trader trying to figure out, when I get into a bug situation, we struggle with it. We've created a news feed. It gets a bug, and now we struggle with it because we can't read code, so we're really relying on it. A couple software engineers in there really help. If you're a software engineer right now, you need to be out there building, because you could really change your life.
All right, we got Nick Shaheen coming on in 3 minutes here. Do we want to go in? I mean, merger and acquisition activity. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Why don't we touch on, and I like this, like, AMD is buying rack space here. I like when, I mean, I know it's trading down $4, but it's not huge, right? The amount that they're paying, good old rack space.
So Rackspace, so
Yeah.
okay, so AMD and Rackspace announced a deal back on like May 6th, I want to say it is. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And they announced that they are going to be, so Rackspace and AMD signed memorandum of understanding to establish a new category of governed enterprise AI infrastructure. This was May 7th. The press release that we had this morning from AMD at Rackspace at 7 a.m. was furthering that deal that we already knew about, but we didn't have terms disclosed before. We just knew they were going to be signing a deal. Now we know that Rackspace is going to provide 30 megawatts of compute for AMD. There were no monetary terms disclosed here. Rackspace shares did pop a good, like, almost $2 on this. This isn't M&A. I just want to be deliberate.
No, yeah, I can clarify here. This
isn't M&A. This is, they're basically buying compute power from Rackspace. This is a good news item.
It's good for Rackspace for sure. I mean, it's a nothing burger probably for AMD, and AMD is down 0.5%, probably just with the overall market here. So, AMD's had a big run here. It's just a little bit of profit taking here. So, but Rackspace is getting a huge deal. I mean, you've gotten to a point here now where it used to always be these smaller companies that they get an NVIDIA mention, they're going to pop significantly. Now, if they get an NVIDIA mention, a Micron mention, probably going to go to a SanDisk mention, like a mention with any of these AI powerhouses right now, they're going to get significant pops here too. So it's no longer just NVIDIA's market. That is what has changed significantly in the last year. We were in NVIDIA's market, Jensen Huang's market, and everybody else was taking a back seat. That has not happened anymore. We now have new players, new leaders. Not that NVIDIA is not still the leader, but there's new leadership forming. AMD is one of them. Lisa Su is one of them. That's why I bet hard on her. And I was like, I believe in Lisa Su. And obviously AMD has really performed here for me. It's made my long-term portfolio. So, I mean, I think this continues. I think we're going to continue to see new headlines all the time. I mean, even right now as we speak, we're getting like new ones, AI this, AI that. Like the companies aren't stupid either. You know, they know when they come out with these AI headlines, their stocks are going to pop as well. You know, and they get these compute deals, their stocks are going to pop. There's going to be continued compute deals here. I mean, this is just not going away. Companies believe in it too. So you got the stock market that firmly believes in AI. You have companies that firmly believe in AI. I firmly believe in AI. And then you have not the people, the non-believers here. And, you know, somebody's going to be right and somebody's going to be wrong. Maybe the non-believers like Warren Buffett are going to be proven correct because he's built his portfolio to underperform in an AI world. But I tell you, man, if you're scared of valuation and you're just been like, no, I can't do it. I can't buy all these companies, you know, that are just, you know, going up 2, 3, 4 times here in the last 6 months. It's been the market where you got to be buying the dip on the leaders.
All right. Dennis loves one number in AMD, and he's going to be following this. He's going to be focusing on that all-time closing high. Not worried about that all-time 558.37, but that mark, 547.26. You know, a lot of people would, would like to see the mark. So we'll look at that as potential resistance in AMD.
Also, last night, continuing with this theme here, small insider buy an AVGO. Unless you want to add something to that conversation, Brent, I was going to transition.
Nope, go ahead. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, I wanted to say AVGO because it was small. Brentster can give us the size of this one. Obviously, our STN newsfeed picking it up. Not really responding, very small. But one thing I will say is AVGO is one of these stocks that's definitely benefiting from AI that has had a significant pullback here now off of its earnings. If this gets up over 400, this could be one of those times you're like, man, why didn't I buy AVGO under $400? I don't own it. I own so much AI stocks already. I don't know if I need more AI exposure. Maybe I do. Maybe I should just be margined down on it. But I mean, Broadcom's one that kind of sets up interesting here. So we get a small insider buy, small vote of confidence. It was small though.
It was small. It was from director Harry Yu buying 1,000 shares in the open market at $373.57. So that is, you know, about $400,000. It's not a ton, but it's definitely not, you know,
notable.
It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. And we have a stock that's really been beaten up. So this insider buy flying under the radar here right now. But if institutions are like, oh, there's a vote of confidence here, I want to buy some AI. I mean, I think there's some people who probably would look at Broadcom and had a pretty good day yesterday. So we put like the little triple bottom, and Joel's just going to go try to get Nick here. But, you know, 370, 371, 370.55, 3 days. And then we came off of it inside day. And now we resolved to the upside here. Above 400, AVGO gets interesting.
Want to do Qualcomm real quick? And the chart would definitely help here for Qualcomm. But a rumor, was it last night? It was last night. A rumor, I believe it was Bloomberg rumor, that Qualcomm is considering buying a company called TensTorrent. And this is a company that builds AI computers. And the rumor was that the deal could be for $8 to $10 billion, $8 billion to $10 billion. When we heard the rumor, it seemed like Qualcomm shares moved lower, but below the 220 level on that rumor.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened. Joel, if you could pull up the Qualcomm chart, please.
Share it.
Yeah, we don't know what happened necessarily around 4 this morning, but the stock popped a ton and is, you know, trading quite
I'll just go
here.
to Triple D. Just like a lot of these stocks are way off their pre-market highs. So I think that SpaceX has fallen. Whatever, if you want to use the 4 a.m. high, you want to use the Robinhood high. I guess we got a new thing here. So that creates a little supply. But everyone asked for Nick Shaheen to come back on pre-market prep, and that's what you're gonna get right now. Let's go. Joining us here on the left coast, up bright and early, race on Twitter. Yeah. Don't worry. One thing you don't have to worry about on this show is your hair. Okay?
Yeah, my hair is always crazy, man.
So,
like, look at this. This is crazy. I have the bed head always.
Yeah.
Nick Shaheen, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. We'll get it down. Excited. I'm looking around all these pops on headlines and IPOs and $1 trillion and factoids of who's richer than who. It's pretty hilarious. Meanwhile, trying to focus to see where this market is going to go. So I was listening to you a little bit. The tech explosion, the AI bubble or not, I have a lot of opinions on those. So what are we talking about this morning?
I want to start with one of the quotes that I use that I learned from you all the time. And you'd say, high to chase, too hot to short. I use that all the time. This is Nick Shaheen's quote here. And I mean, it kind of applies to this market here too, in some cases. Maybe some of this stuff has run too far. You need a pullback maybe to execute here. But I got the guts to come in here and try a short on SpaceX on day 3 of trading here when it's
why?
Why? Yeah, I don't like my face ripped off here. So Nick, obviously, you've come up with this quote, but let's just talk about the market in that context here, and some of these AI stocks.
So since we talked about THTH, too hot to chase, and all of that, I came up with a better one. Nope.
What do you got?
Nope. NOPE, not an obvious point of entry. Nope. Someone
not
says,
an obvious point of entry. I like that.
Nope. What about this? What about that? Nope. Nope. So there's a lot of nopes out there. It's hard. I had that conversation yesterday with somebody that wanted to get invested, and they said, I bought in AMD at 115, and they said they bought 4. I said, why don't you sell 1 and the 3 you have left is paid for? And they were like, okay, that sounds like a plan. It's as easy as that. So manage your risk and pick your battles. I did try to short some of these high-flying stocks like Palantir last year. That was difficult, but I won in the end. Micron kicked my ass this year. But GLW hopefully will make up for it. So it is tempting to chase. It is tempting to short. Just pick your battles. I'm staying away from stocks I can't explain, like Caterpillar, for example. Parabolic stock, great business, but it's not parabolic business. And the AI potential tech wreck and the conversation there. So nope. There's a lot of nopes out there. Too high to chase, too hot to short type of a deal. But it doesn't mean that there's nothing to do. Buffett's sitting on his cash because he says he's happy with his 5%, and he's right about that. Like, what are you missing out on? And there's a lot to trade. Like intraday, we're doing a lot of 0 DTE with science, like yesterday, shorted the pop open and we survived via credit spreads. And iron butterflies, it's like the idea of selling the straddle, being a market maker of sorts. It's not that crazy. You don't have to chase everything. So as long as somebody has a little bit of patience, you guys, you know that, they can do well. So the big concept is AI a bubble. AI is not yet born. To me, we are talking about the hardware that will deliver AI stuff in the future. So this is like the internet bubble, the .com bubble, the internet, like having an internet wasn't the bubble. The expectations of the stocks that delivered the .coms was the bubble. And once that burst, it changed the world, having the internet. I think it's the same thing here with the AI. The hardware, we're all focused on the hardware and the pipes that deliver it. What happens after that? Then they become commodities. And then what happens after that? What are we going to do with that? Robots, whatever. That's the AI thing. So it's being born. It's not yet born, in my opinion. So we're focused on the hardware. I think it's going to be an old story. And the margins are going to collapse because right now the margins are based on not having anything. So if Micron sold out of everything, they can charge 6 times whatever they paid for their stuff.
Right.
That's why their margins are so huge.
Well, in the commodity business, I think you're making a good point here. Like Micron is always traded like a commodity stock. I mean, it goes on the price of memory, and memory prices have exploded here. So what they're selling, they're just charging 6 times more for, and they're making a hell of a lot of money. So this PE, and I have argued that before too. Like PE, they say, how can you go wrong? Micron's at a PE of 8. We have seen periods where Micron has been at a PE of 3, and the stock has went down because the memory cycle has reversed. I mean, this is the fun of commodity stocks, and really, it is a commodity stock, Micron. So
yes, and it has a history, like you said. If you look at it years back, it goes through booms and busts, like plus 60%, minus 20%, plus 40%, minus 30%. I don't know if this time it's different.
That's what I was going to ask.
you-
Is it different this time?
right? They always say, "Oh, this time is different." It's like
Yeah.
I've run many businesses. Not once did I ever have the opportunity to be able to screw my client 4x on their costs and get away with it for a long time. That's a crisis, in my opinion. If you can do that to your client, you've got a crisis in the industry. You don't have enough stuff. You may be sold out of everything, but what are you going to sell next? So that's the kind of silly idea. I don't think it can last. So the expectations of the margins, like somebody just reported, I forgot who it was, one of these high-flying tech companies, their sales were X and their net profit was X minus a sliver. So I was like, how does that happen? How can you have 3.2 billion in sales and 3.1 billion in net profit? The only way you can answer that is they're selling stuff that they bought at the cheap, the components, and they're selling it at super high prices. How long does that last? And what are the expectations of the investors buying the stock now? So there's a lot of that going on. Meanwhile, NVIDIA can't catch a bid to save its life, right?
No.
So somebody says, what's NVIDIA? I'm going to short NVIDIA yesterday in the live room. I was like, why would you short the one that started the whole thing? I wouldn't short NVIDIA. I said, if you can justify GLW at the price where it's at, NVIDIA should be like $1,000. I mean, it's crazy that it's so disrespected. Meanwhile, it cranks out the cash since 2023 like you wouldn't believe, and consistently so.
Nick, zero DTEs. I know you're looking at them. They are playing with fire. Is it something that you're doing out of the gate? Do you wait till 11? Do you wait to 12? Do you play both sides? How do you approach the zero DTE market?
So like yesterday, perfect example. The market is ripping before the market opens. So the SPX jumps up. And so the knee-jerk reaction for me is to sell some call spreads. Basically, we opened up, 1%. And you would say, okay, I'll give them room and I'll collect some cash from somebody who's expecting it to go 2%. So you sell something like you said before, selling losing lottery tickets. So I would sell something called a credit call spread, a bear call spread, which is a bearish position, but it does not require a bearish movement. It just requires the stock to stop rallying past a certain point. And statistically, you're in the green. Like statistically, you're slated to win 85% of the time. You know, there's that 15% chance you're going to lose money. And how do you handle that? I did that with the SPX and the NDX. The NDX was a little bit trickier because, you know, it went 3% and I still was able to win with it because you leave it enough room. So you don't need to be surgically correct. You just need to know where the call walls are, where market makers' pain lies. If you can figure that out, you'll have a jump start on the rest of the people who are chasing. So that's one way, passive way to trade the zero DTEs. There's a more fun way, which is to chase buying calls and puts, like buying stocks or futures and selling the market. That's more active. And that's a lot of fun. Given the skills we have in the room, mine and other people in the room, we do pretty well with it. If you're winging it, you're food. You're going to be food for people like us. And because if you don't know what you're doing, it's easy to get wrapped up and you're always chasing something you're not fast enough to chase. So zero DTEs are fun as long as you have a system. If you don't, you win some days, you lose more days, you end up being frustrated. And
how are you approaching the SpaceX options? Do you just let it, you know, it has 2 days of trading action here. There's going to be some premiums out there, Nick. You know what? Just sell everything. Sell the calls, sell the puts, sell the straddles, sell everything. You know,
there's so much misinformation on SpaceX. It's not even funny. Like nobody mentions that it's a communication company. It's not a space travel company. The biggest dollars and the most profit comes from Starlink. It's like whatever it is, 11 billion. You look it up, you tell me. It's bigger than the space travel thing. That's where the money comes from. Great sales, great margins. Then you have SpaceX, which is the second best. And then you have the AI junk that is lading it with all the expenses. All the losses come from the build out of the AI infrastructure, whatever, data centers. That's where the money suck is, 6 billion or whatever it is a year in losses. So that part of the SpaceX, I know how to invest in. As far as getting in, why not buy a couple of shares and get it out of your system? You know, it's not going to break you. I actually had somebody that I've known for 40 years, never talked to me about stocks ever. Yesterday said, "Hey, can you buy me a couple of shares?" I was like, "What?" I've known you for 40 years. So is that a bubble idea? Somebody you've known for 40 years never talked to you about stocks, and suddenly they want to buy stocks with you. So is it a bubble? It's a mania. Are options available today? Maybe they are. So
Today.
I'll report back tomorrow or next time I see you how that went. I'm fairly certain one of my 150 people is going to say, "I just got in on some calls and puts." We do have one employee from SpaceX among us, so
Yeah.
I just met him. Actually, he went to our last event in Florida. If any of your people, I'm going to plug my next event. It's probably going to be at the end of August. It's Futures 101 in the LA area. If you're there or you're close or you want to fly there, reach out to me. And I'm going to take 15 to 20 people tops. I have about 12 interested from my group. And if somebody else wants to check it out, it's going to be chilled 2 days, Sunday, Monday, 2 instructors, myself and somebody else.
Nice.
So,
It's gonna be
Nick,
cool.
you've known that person since you were 5?
Hey, I'm 58, buddy.
I'm buying the 60 calls. Nick, before I let you go here, the 24-hour market, just a quick, I know you're going to delve into this more tomorrow. I mean, you have Robinhood trading late. You have, options not quite there yet. You have perps coming out. I mean, and I sometimes I wish I lived on the left coast, because you start earlier, you end earlier. The 6 p.m. open would be a 3 p.m. open. Just talk
Correct.
about the future of 24-hour trading and everything.
Okay, so I used to like options because I wanted my off time. I want to turn my brain off and focus on other stuff. I don't want to be involved 23 hours a day. But the futures do a lot for that. Like I've been short the pop via the futures since yesterday. I haven't checked it twice. I have my stops, I have my runs, and I can just leave it with my stops already in there. I don't like to use stops, but this is the only way I would trade the future. So having more time just frees people up. We don't all have the same schedules. So there are some people that work overnight shifts and all of that. I do like that. I like the flexibility. I just hope people focus on what works for them and not chase the hype of one thing or another. Because the more tools, the better, the bigger the blanket of people that can invest in it. Listen, the market is a great side hustle, and hopefully a lot of people, some people will be able to flip it to be the main hustle. And then that would be a great life. Like, yes, I can be done at 1, but believe it or not, I don't get out of my chair until 6 p.m. or 5:50 or something
We
like that.
need you, Nick Shaheen, a contributor here.
I'm here all day
on pre-market prep, and also helping us out over on the Stock Trader Network.
That was so much fun last week. I can't wait for the next one. It was a lot of fun last week.
That is tomorrow. Okay, Tricky Nicky, the old battling tops. There he is, joining us on pre-market.
Awesome.
Prep.
Great to see you, Nick.
Great.
All right, a little choppy here, but the battle of the close is there. Dennis, seeing any out? I see some leak.
We're seeing rotation here, definitely out of the leaders into the laggards. So I can clearly see the rotation here this morning. I mean, you got AMD down, Intel down, Micron has leaked away much of the gains here. SanDisk is starting to leak. SpaceX has leaked. I think Brent makes a great point. If SpaceX was to turn red, some of those leaders turn to laggards. And what you're seeing here under the hood is a real market rally here, real economy stocks. Why? Because USO is down substantially. So with USO trading down another 4.5% here, you're seeing, the airlines start to perk up. Some of the stocks that are interest rate sensitive start to perk up here. So, IWM small caps are starting to perk up here a little bit as well, which obviously a lot of interest rate sensitive names in there too, because all these companies borrow money. And oil sensitive too. And so I'm saying interest rate sensitive, and I'm meaning to say oil sensitive too. A lot of these companies use fuel. So you're seeing definitely some rotation here early this morning. Is that a tell to the day? Sometimes. We've run a long ways. And to Nick's point here, he made some fantastic points. We've come so far. So, Micron, going up, and talking about the SanDisk move up 35% in 3 days, 4 days. Are we upside capitulation on some of these names? Potentially. SanDisk was $500 in April. It's 2,124. So I mean, as much as I believe these companies are doing well, really well, and I believe in AI, is there some of these stocks, in a little short-term bubble or a long-term bubble? Is the bubble about to burst? Nobody knows where the top is. It's impossible to call tops. But some of these stocks definitely have run a long ways.
I want to just give.
they're quite a bit off their pre-market.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is the concern here. I have some concerning pre-market tape action. Like people come in and say, wow, I can't believe SpaceX up another 9 points. And I look at it, wow, it's 25 points off the Robinhood high from last night. That's somewhat concerning. So
That's
two different tails of the tape. If you're watching overnight action, you get a different feel for it. I mean, Micron looks up another 11 points. Look, this Micron can't stop. But bring up the overnight chart here, Joel. And we're not even talking the Robinhood action here. We're just talking the action from where it was 20 minutes ago. We're leaking here a little bit. We've got a steady leak. Put the plug in, plug the leak. So, does dip get bought? Maybe. But we definitely have some concerning tape action for the chasers here this morning.
A couple things I want to give heads ups on. We have HP Enterprise, their Discover event, which starts today, and it's going to be running through all this week. I looked back last year at this HPE Discover event, and the company did like 10 or 15 press releases surrounding this event. We saw a couple last night that HP did ahead of the event starting today. So a little heads up, a little warning here. We could see more HPE press releases around this event, and they could name drop some other companies that they are partnering with. Also, Nick Brown on the SCN team giving us a nice heads up last night. He heard that Snap CEO Evan Spiegel is going to interview on CNBC today at 2 p.m. Okay. Why this is interesting? Because I don't know why Snap would be on the radar for CNBC today. I don't think we have anything that Snap announced that like they're having an investor day or some kind of analyst event. So I'm kind of intrigued that we're going to have the CEO on CNBC here today at 2 p.m.
I mean, Snap is probably a company that's ripe to benefit from AI efficiency. So, I mean, it's not a company I don't know if I want to invest in Snap. I mean, the business itself has struggled. It's never really made money, nothing serious anyways, maybe a penny or two. But I do think there is some efficiency here, probably. Like, a lot of the business is software. So some of the software companies where they've been beat up, where it's like, oh, it's all going to get replaced. And, yeah, maybe some of it is. But also, there's going to be easier efficiencies in software there, too. So that's something to think about there. If we start talking the efficiency trade here, I mean, obviously, already at Square, which we'll call it Square forever. Meta's talking.
What's the symbol now?
On Square? It's XYZ. Change the symbol every other week, so you don't know. But it's block and XYZ. This is everything they've done there. Like, it's just been dumb. But let's be honest. PayPal, this payment services. There's a lot of these companies out there, and it's competitive space. And PayPal has not found its way at all. Obviously, there's been some people who've said this is going to be a turnaround story eventually here, but disruption happening here as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that are being disrupted. PayPal has been massively disrupted. Is ever going back to its $300 a share here again? Does it have value here? Yeah, there's value. There's a cash cow happening here still, PayPal. I think it trades 10 times earnings. But it's, again,
worried about those
disrupted.
earnings.
When your companies are trading, tech stocks trading at 10 times earnings, it means the market doesn't believe that their revenues are going to be able to grow at all. And if not, actually, they might go down.
Joel, any quick comments, Joel? I want to get to a couple ratings.
Yeah, let's get the ratings in here real quick.
Okay, so we have an XOM, an ExxonMobil upgrade here this morning. I believe it was Bank of America. Yes, Bank of America upgrading ExxonMobil to buy, setting a $154 price target. I want to touch on one more rating here after you guys potentially give your thoughts on XOM here.
Oh boy. I'll say they're buying the dip, and I kind of respect that. I just look at, man, 154. It already traded 154. I mean, I don't know. I'm not running out and buying this. I don't know how long this whole oil thing, if the Straits of Hormuz close, you're going to see a big pop in it. But I respect the call, but it doesn't really make me run around and go buy the stock today.
Yeah, it's a valuation call. They're saying that the stock is now cheaper than it was before the war. But we got to think right before that, what happened too is oil started going up ahead of the war here. I mean, this stock traded between 100 and 120 for a very long time. If the war is officially over, there'll be another war. I mean, and wars aren't going to end. He started Department of War, but so there's going to be other times to trade it here too. But we just broke down yesterday. USO continues to break down here this morning. Like trying to call a bottom here looks like a tough trade to me.
Wow, right, just real quick, Brent. I know you want the other one.
No problem.
This traded between 100 and 120 for 3 years. For 3 years.
Yeah,
and then you just have this kind of movement. Well, they better make 140 the bottom.
120 looks like a buy. If it came back there, the old resistance becomes new support trick, and you come all the way down here. Maybe eventually you get a shot at this at 120 again, and maybe that's where you take that shot. I think Bank of America is early.
All right, last one here. Tesla, Goldman raising their Tesla Q2 delivery forecast. The consensus is around 400,000 deliveries for Tesla's Q2. Goldman raises their estimate to 420,000 units. I believe, this would have been out earlier in this morning. However, I saw a notable source on X sharing this information, and then about 8 or 9 minutes later, it did. Tesla shares did start popping, but they were popping with SpaceX. So I'm unsure if the price action in Tesla, when it rallied from, let's say, like 405 to over 409 this morning, I'm unsure if this was just moving with SpaceX or if this was on the heels of this delivery estimate raised by Goldman News.
I mean, it doesn't look like the market's responding much to it at all here. Tesla's just in a waiting and holding period. And I don't know what. I still own some Tesla stock in the long-term account. People say, how can you own that 100 times sales or whatever the hell, 100 times earnings, or whatever it is? I mean, it's just a story. So I'm out of 90% of the position, been out for a long time. I don't know what SpaceX means for Tesla. Part of me thinks like that SpaceX could buy Tesla. I think there is a possibility. It has been hinted in the past. I mean, if SpaceX continues to go up and goes to $2, $3, $4, $5 trillion valuation, does it just scoop Tesla up with stock? Maybe. But also there's the argument that there's two ways to play Elon Musk now. And the SpaceX way is kind of a sexier way to play Elon Musk.
Definitely.
So does that take some of the luster out of Tesla? Maybe as well. And I think investors are uncertain too. And we're just kind of sitting here and we're stuck in the mud right now because the bulls and the bears are like, they're not even interested. A little bit of disinterested in Tesla here because SpaceX is the new toy. So I don't think that's great for Tesla.
I don't like the goal delivery estimates. Like we care about delivery estimates.
They haven't forever.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're going to wrap it up. Special thanks to Nick Shaheen for joining us today on this Synthetic Wednesday. If you don't know what I mean by that, we're all taking a day off on Friday, except for Dennis, because of the holiday. We're going to talk economics tomorrow with Blue Putnam, the chief economist here at the Stock Trader Network. Folks, keep an eye on your SPCX. Could be your leader on both sides of the market. Once again, thanks for your input in the chat, and back with you tomorrow morning.
Thanks for watching Pre-Market Prep. Hit like, hit subscribe. Join the SCN Think Tank at StockTraderNetwork.com.